Hebrews 10:24-25. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. Very simply put, when the Bible talks about the assembling of ourselves together, it's talking about church. And I love church. I love going to church. Now, a mistake that we make sometimes is we have a tendency to think that church is a building. But realistically, church is not the building. Church is the people. I am the church. You are the church. And so when we meet together at what we would consider the church, we are assembling as the church. And God says it's important for us not to forsake assembling together. And when we assemble together, it's for a purpose. We come to collectively and to corporately worship God. We want God to get the praise and the honor and the glory every time that we meet. And so when we come, God here in this passage actually tells us that we're supposed to meet together to exhort one another. And when it talks about exhorting one another, it means to encourage one another. I want to go to church every Sunday, and every time the doors are open, I want to be there not just to worship God, even though that's the goal, but also to be an encouragement to others. The Bible also explains it in Proverbs 27 in verse number 17. The Bible says, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. And what that means is this: when we do good things, when we're around others, especially other believers, we can sharpen each other. We can make each other better. And so when it comes to church, I challenge you to be faithful in church. Not just faithful to church by being there, but while we're there, we need to be in tune and plugged in. Think about it. When I go to church and I have the opportunity to look and see many teenagers that are loving God and loving church and excited about being there, it encourages me as a youth pastor, as a preacher, but even so as a believer. When you come to church and you're faithful to church, you encourage others in their faithfulness. You make church a place where others want to be. When they see you worshiping God out of a pure heart and a pure spirit, and you're there and you're singing when it's time to sing, and you're focused in during the preaching, and you're excited about just the very simple things of God, you make church an exciting place. And so I challenge you today to take God at His word, to make it a choice, to make a commitment not to forsake church, not to forsake the assembling of yourselves together. You see, sometimes what happens is this: the Bible talks about as the manner of some is. And there are some people who, as we get further and further along, there are some people who have just gotten used to church, or maybe they've decided they're going to go to church maybe one time a week. But I challenge you, be at church every time the doors are opened. I love it when teenagers are faithful to teen church at 9:30 in the morning. I love it when teenagers are there again the next hour in Sunday school. But it also thrills my heart, and it's such an encouragement to me and to the rest of our church family when young people, when teenagers are faithful, not just to Sunday morning, but they'll be there Sunday night. And you'll see them again on Thursday night because they want to be faithful to church and not forsake the assembling of ourselves together. Please be faithful to church. You're an encouragement to me, and you're an encouragement to others when you don't forsake the assembling of yourselves together. Be faithful to church. I'll see you this morning. I look forward to seeing you serve God out of that pure heart with an excitement as we meet together for church. I love you and I appreciate you. Stay faithful, serving God.